Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host. Almost every Wednesday we meet here to talk about important things and important people. This week we're going to talk about two really important guys, Jimmy Carter and Joe Biden. Now, if you're a Republican, don't go running away because this isn't some big screed about democratic values. It's just recognizing on this day, at this time, two people who are pretty worth mentioning. Jimmy Carter, not so much for his presidency, although that was, at the time, a stunning defeat. An outsider, peanut farmer. Jimmy Carter from Plains, Georgia, went to the Naval Academy, got in the state senate, was elected governor, and then won as a Democrat in 1970. Served in the White House for just 4 years. And it was a tough 4 years. Right now, February 22nd, 2023, we think about high inflation, right? Under President Biden, high inflation, 8.5%. Well, under Jimmy Carter, 14.5% inflation. Plus, he had the Iran hostage situation. He had sort of a bum run. He tried to give a speech in 1979 to really boost the morale of the population, and it was a total Debbie Downer. They ended up calling it the speech of malaise. It's almost like, did you ever see Les Miserables? Okay, I mean, people really, instead of feeling uplifted. But here's the thing about Jimmy Carter, and this is the point, because the theme on this show, as you know, shout out to all these teenage girls who are so depressed. It's not your fault. But the theme of this show is, define yourself, fuck cancel culture. And so what Jimmy Carter did post-presidency is what's so amazing. He's the most successful post-president. His philanthropy and civic engagement really is unmatched. Between monitoring elections around the world, building 40,000 houses with Habitat for Humanity, working to eradicate diseases. I mean, he and Roslyn, non-stop dedication to public service. So he redefined himself. And now, in his 98th year, our 39th president has decided to call it quits. He's not going to have any more medical services performed. He's going to receive hospice care at home, and I hope his exit of this world is gentle and the meeting with his maker is a fine one. The faithful Baptist Jimmy Carter, yeah. Rest in peace. And you know who else is deserving of our kudos this week? Our president, Joe Biden, on President's Day, Monday. Joe Biden landed in Ukraine and met with the leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, and marched around publicly in a stunning sign of solidarity with the brave people who are fighting Vladimir Putin. And why it's so amazing and worthy of our dedication here on the Smugsy Show is because he did it in a way that will make the history books. Only a group of 4 or 5 people knew. And the night before, the Saturday night before the Sunday trip to Ukraine, Joe Biden and Jill made a big deal of being out and about around Washington, D.C., which is where I was last week, as a matter of fact. Maybe they went to the Capitol Grill. Maybe they went to Zelensky. They were out. Then, in the early, dark hours of the morning, the President of the United States left on Air Force One with just 2 reporters, 4 or 5 staff people, and flew to Poland, and then made his way in a brigade to Ukraine. And what's interesting, no leaks. The reporters had to turn over their phones. There was no real-time reporting. But what is interesting to me is that a couple of hours before this courageous act of unity is that the president called Russia and gave them notice. Joe Biden, he is the right man, the right time, and he did the right thing. The timing is perfect because today's February 22nd, 2023, the war, the invasion of Ukraine. The anniversary is February 24th. And this week, the top Chinese diplomat is scheduled to meet with the top Russian to discuss what the Chinese think is, a peace plan. The Chinese think that they have a plan to resolve the war in Ukraine. How confident are you? I'm not confident that they have a peace plan. I suspect that the Chinese and the Russians are gearing up, joining together. They're going to get their friends over in Iran and Syria, North Korea, all these thugs. And they're going to start a war because that's what these guys do. So I'm grateful to Joe Biden for rallying the good guys. He is the Gandalf of our time. He's the Winston Churchill. He's the guy getting it done. And then you have these small men, these small dicks, and I mean that literally, Richard Clay Davis, Travis Davis, Richard, what is the guy's name? You know who it is, Clay Travis. He took over for Rush Limbaugh. He's a replacement. He's like a knee replacement. He's a medical device, but he's a mouthpiece. Instead of saluting the president, like most decent Republicans would do when it comes to our borders, right? Okay, we can fight about our diplomatic policies amongst ourselves, but when it comes to the borders, that's when Americans come together and we're united. And we're united in our fight against Russia. Well, this Clay Travis, he just wants to show pictures of our president stumbling on the steps of Air Force One, calling him a bumbling idiot. Maybe he's tripping going up and down the steps because he's going up and down the steps so many times because he's flying all over the world, getting all of the team together, rallying the troops, basically giving the finger to Vladimir Putin. And this guy, this Rush Limbaugh replacement, you look him up, his Wikipedia page. He's like not Gandhi. He first worked as a lawyer over in the Virgin Islands, and he protested. He had a pudding strike where he ate pudding every single day, demanding that football be shown on his channel. That's his idea of activism, of working for social change, of trying to get things done. He has the nerve to ridicule Joe Biden for tripping on the steps as if just because he's 80 years old, he can't lead the world. Age discrimination. Blatant age discrimination. Maybe Joe Biden's high. Jimmy Carter, Joe Biden. This week, kudos to those men and to the friends and fans of this show who are going to the Kirk Minihane show in Portland. I have some good news for you. The security is very tight there. So this threat by Jay, all the muffins man, do you know the muffin man? You can't get into the State Theater if you have a gun. You can't get a bracelet if you have a gun. So that's the thing, is if you want to drink, and you do, it's a great setup. There's a bar right outside the show area. It's really great. The best seats really are sort of first level towards the back on the left. And then you can hit the bar, and so don't worry about guns because you can't let guns in. You're going to have a great time at the State Theater. I'd love to join you, but I think I have an appointment that night, which is unfortunate, but maybe I'll see you outside. Until next time, this is Smugsy Girl signing off. Take care.